I actually heard you guys pull up to Otana, the big O, and you pulled up when I was not there? Yo, so puss ass shit, boy. You gonna get popped next time I see you ass. Bring the whole cavalry. Yeah, boy, you guys are scared. Scared of the stingray, baby.
More fraud has been discovered in Minnesota, and this time is with the SBA, Small Business Administration. So these are the PPP loans and those disaster loans that they were giving around the COVID era. So this is what the administrator said on X. Today, our agency took action to suspend 6,900 Minnesota borrowers and suspected fraudulent activity. In total, these borrowers were approved for $7,900 in PP and EIDL loans worth approximately $400 billion. She said the implicated individuals will be banned from all SBA loan programs, including disaster loans. Going forward, we will also refer every case where appropriate to federal law enforcement for prosecution and repayment. The suspension comes as the House Committee on Small Businesses started an investigation into fraud within the PPP and the EIDL, both programs that were established during the pandemic. When does this stop? When does this stop? You know, it's like it's infinite fraud out there in Minnesota. But yeah, this is what they're trying to do to stop it. They suspended those individuals that was a part of this, but they made off with $400 million. That's a lot of taxpayer money.
So a lot of Somalis have been mocking Americans, and they have been saying that Americans are just taxpayers who work and then pay taxes that literally take care of welfares for them Somalis. Meaning they are trying to say that Americans do the working while them Somalis enjoy the hard work of Americans. And they have been saying this without any care of how this will make hardworking Americans feel in any way. And honestly, a lot of people have been asking because right now, how can you say such things to people who have given you an opportunity for a better life after you have moved to their own country? So right now in this video, we're going to watch other clips and we understand why these people are saying these things, or how how the consequences of their actions have come back to affect them, or how they have beginning to face the consequences of their own actions. So please, if you're new here, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and drop your comments in the comment section, because I always like to know what you all think about every topic. Okay, all right, means the original creators of these videos, I'll let the rest of the videos play out. Let's watch.
We need to stop this drama between African Americans and Somalis in the States because I can see both of the arguments. Some Somalis might argue that this drama is being initiated by African Americans, that African Americans interjected themselves into this madness, which is Somali American citizens being attacked by their president simply because of their ethnicity. And many Somalis argued that it is because of their skin color. And this ticked off a lot of African Americans because they said, oh, but didn't you say that you're not black? Well, if you're not black, then you can't ask for help because someone is attacking you because of your skin color and stuff like that. But one huge difference that we need to understand is that when Somalis say they are not black, they mean culturally, ethnically, they are not black. Or in other words, they don't identify with their skin color, but the rest of the world identifies them by their skin color. So a Somali can enter a store, and before he entered that store, he was a Somali, but the moment he entered that store clerk followed him around because he saw a teenage black boy. And that is what they mean when they are being targeted because they are black, because of their skin color. However, I also understand the other argument. Many African Americans have a negative view of the Somali community because they feel like they spew derogative terms against certain Africans, against other African people in the diaspora, calling them names like Jared, where some Somalis will claim that it is not negative, but 9 times out of 10, that name or that slur is being used in a negative term, whether you want to admit that or not. And that is something we definitely need to stop. So, what can we do with this knowledge to move forward? Well, African Americans can try to see how other Africans view color and view race from their lenses, and understand that when they mean that they are being treated worse because they are black, it doesn't mean that they identify with the black culture that was made in African Americans in America. They mean that the color of their skin is the reason why they are being treated badly. Whether they identify with being black or not won't change their skin color. That label was made by racial hierarchy. And one thing Somalis can do is to look at the backlash and the strong reactions they are getting from their fellow Africans, including African Americans, and notice that it is rooted in feeling like they are being insulted or feeling like they are being looked at in a different way by Somali communities. And we have to be honest and really dive deep into say, okay, yes, this is true. There are certain things that are being used in a negative way towards African Americans, and we have to definitely look into that. African Americans and Africans at all. We can't just look into it. We have to really stop it. So these are the things that we can do to move forward.
Small businesses. It's the I Promise grant program. So these are not loans. This is free taxpayer money. And you have businesses that participate in government programs that have to be shut down due to fraud, also participating in this particular program, according to the Investigates team over at ABC5 in Minneapolis. But what's even more interesting is that this guy actually decided that he was going to call some of these businesses, try to talk to them, try to ask them what's up, try to ask them what they're doing with this money, how they're getting this money, if their business is legitimate. And let's just say the people that were called, not very happy to be hearing from the local news media, who, by the way, has a history of uncovering these fraud schemes in the state of Minnesota. Because like I said, the state of Minnesota isn't prosecuting this. They may pretend that they are, but they're absolutely not. It's usually the federal government, and typically the federal government gets tipped off not by the state's government, but by local reporters.
You can call 911 if you want. I'm just trying to find out what you're using the funds for.
So isn't that an interesting response? Isn't that a curious response, that when you get a call from a reporter on the phone, again, not in a threatening way at all whatsoever,
So Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, might have just landed himself in prison. During an investigation into the Minnesota Somali daycare fraud scheme, a specific company called the Feeding Our Future Daycare was exposed for receiving millions and millions of taxpayer dollars in fraud. Except there was a break in 2021 when whistleblowers came out and said this company is fraudulent, stop sending them money. Tim Walz heard that and restarted their payments, and all of that just got exposed.
I asked that question. I said, why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments? The payments stopped because there were concerns, obviously. It wouldn't stop the payments. Then they restarted a month later. What was the reason for restarting the payments?
My understanding was the agency believed that the court had required them to make those payments.
And that was false, wasn't it? You repeated that. You said that, didn't you? You said the reason you restarted is because the court ordered you to do so. Is that right?
I don't believe that is settled yet, to the best of my knowledge.
Well, I think it is, because the court did something that I don't know if I've ever seen it. They issued a statement saying you were wrong in what you were saying. This is from the court. It says, Feeding Our Future versus Minnesota Department of Education, correcting reports and statements by Governor Tim Walz concerning orders issued by the court. Here's what the judge says. Governor Tim Walz told the media that the Minnesota Department of Education attempted in payments to FOF because of possible fraud, but that Judge Guthman ordered payments to continue in April 2021.
So please, can we just get one elected official who commits fraud behind bars? Just one. I feel like that's not too much to ask for.
Dr. Oz just came out and said that they're withholding billions in Medicare, 14 different programs in Minnesota due to the fraud. This comes on the heels of the preliminary investigation in which they have already found that some of Tim Walz's staff was backdating and creating new documents to try to cover the path of fraud. They found that they were creating entities and funding them within 30 days to the tune of over $500,000. In one case, an individual that was working for Tim Walz created, funded left the workplace of tumults to go work for the entity that was created and funded 650,000 plus within 30 days. This is just the tip of the spear. It's going to get far worse. But now, those in need in Minnesota are also going to have to wait because even Medicare has been completely halted.
Immediately upon walking toward the shelter, I saw what appeared to be a migrant driving a brand new car. We found out that he lives there and bought the car himself, but with what money? With what? What do you do for work?
People are finally talking about the scams that happens at these migrant shelters. These migrants, immigrants, they get EBT, they get cash aid, thousands of dollars monthly through government assistance, right? Government aid. And while they're there, there's clothes that's been handed to these migrants. They'll take diapers and baby formula from these migrant shelters and they'll sell them online, or they'll just take it to the streets and sell them. So just imagine you have months, even years sometimes, of free rent. You don't have to pay for food. You don't have to pay for baby formula. You don't have to pay for diapers, and sometimes you don't even have to pay for clothes. So while you're getting all this free stuff, especially rent and food, you know how expensive rent and food is. Most of us is paying over 30% of our income, monthly income, on rent. And let's not talk about food. Just imagine if you didn't have to worry about food or rent, how much you could put your money towards something else. So while all these expenses are taken care of for these migrants and immigrants, they have jobs, whether they're under the table or they're using somebody else's, identity or fraud like that. Then they have this additional income that comes in where they could buy cars, brand new cars. They could buy whatever they want and invest their money in whatever they want to invest their money in. Whereas, your average American is strapped for cash. Like the average American don't even have $500 saved. So that's how all these immigrants are able to accumulate this money and wealth.
You bought this car?
If he lives in the shelter in Marlboro, what he does is he gets free housing every day. He gets free meals every day. But he's also signed up for EBT card benefits, WIC card benefits, probably got a cell phone and a iPad computer through the Obama phone program. Probably taking in about $3,800 a month in EBT card benefits. He's probably getting his wife or his spouse or the woman that he's living with is probably making about another $400 a month in WIC cards, women in crisis cards.
So, a heated debate has been spreading online after old clips resurfaced of some Somali immigrants mocking Americans about taxes and government spending. In those clips, a few individuals were seen laughing and claiming that Americans work long hours only to pay taxes, while immigrants and refugees benefit from the programs funded by those taxes. The comments were meant to be humorous at the time, but many people are now revisiting those statements and saying the situation shows how quickly attitudes can change when reality sets in. In the videos, the individuals joked that Americans wake up early, work all day, and pay large portions of their incomes in taxes, while government programs funded by those taxes provide support for others. Some framed it as a clever system where immigrants could take advantage of opportunities without carrying the same burdens that citizens face. The comments spread widely on social media and sparked backlash from many Americans who felt disrespected by the tone of the remarks. At the same time the comments were made, the speakers appeared confident and amused. They treated the situation like a joke, suggesting that the system was something to laugh about rather than something to appreciate or respect. For many viewers, the comments came across as mocking the people whose work and tasks contributed and helped fund public programs, infrastructure, schools, healthcare support, and many of the services that benefit everyone living in the country. But as the years passed, the conversation began to change. Immigration policies tightened, debate around public spending grew more intense, and public opinion about immigration became more divided. Suddenly, the same people who once mocked about the system found themselves facing uncertainty. Discussions about deportation, stricter immigration enforcement, and limits on benefits created a different reality than the one they had imagined when they first arrived. For many observers, this shift highlighted a powerful lesson about consequences. Words spoken casually in moments of confusion can take on a completely different meaning when circumstances change. What once sounded like bragging now sounds to some people like a reminder that disrespect toward the host society can come back to haunt those who expressed it. Supporters of a tougher stance on immigration say the situation proves that respect matters. They argue that when someone moves to another country and benefits from its system, they should recognize the efforts and sacrifice that citizens make to keep those systems running. In this view, taxes represent more than just money. They represent the collective work of millions of people contributing to a society. From their perspective, mocking those contributions show a others lack of appreciation. Others take a more nuanced view. They argue that immigrants have often arrived with complex emotions shaped by hardship, displacement, and culture shock. Humor can sometimes become a coping mechanism, even when it crosses lines or comes across as disrespectful. These voices say the real issue is not just the comments themselves, but the broader tension that exists across immigration, economic pressure, and social identity. Still, many people online are focusing on the idea that actions and words have consequences. Social media has a long memory. Videos, tweets, jokes posted years ago can resurface at any moment and be judged by a completely different audience. The same internet that once amplified laughter and applause can later amplify criticism and accountability. For some Somali immigrants, watching the situation unfold, it has become a moment of reflection. Many have pointed out that the actions of a few individuals should not be defined across the United States, including other communities. Somali communities across the United States, including hardworking families, business owners, students, and professionals who contribute significantly to the economy and society. But the controversy has also sparked conversations within immigrant communities themselves about the importance of humility and respect when living in a new country. Many people say that gratitude for opportunity should always outweigh arrogance or mockery. The broader lesson that many observers are drawing from this situation is simple but powerful. Societies function because people contribute to them. Taxes fund roads, hospitals, schools, security, and countless programs that support both citizens and newcomers. When those contributions are mocked, it can create resentment and deepen division between communities. Now, as the debate continues online, the story is being used by many as an example of how quickly narratives can change. What began as a moment of laughter on social media has turned into a much louder conversation about responsibility, respect, and the long term consequences of things people say in public. In the end, the situation has become a reminder that words carry weight, especially in an age where every comment can be recorded, shared, and remembered. When consequences change, those same words can return in ways that no one originally expected. So, right now, in as much as the Somalis did not expect the consequences that they are facing right now based on what they have said, what they have done, and everything that they have gotten involved in their day to day activities. And even some of them actually did not try to remember that sometimes when you mock the people who you benefit from, at the end of the day, it turns down to affect you too. So it's very important for you to be careful of what you say and people that you mock, because at the end of the day it's really shocking that you can come out and mock the same people who are providing necessary things that you need in a country that they let you in and they give you an opportunity for a better life. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this one. If you're new here, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and drop your comments in the comment section. Alright, remain the original creators of these videos. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you in the next. Bye.